And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Chalk Talk Primetime Edition. I'm running a little behind, so I hope that you hung in there. I've been having some technical difficulties all day, but listen, welcome to Chalk Talk, the Primetime Edition. So glad that you could join in. And if you happen to catch the replay, that's cool too. Glad to have you on the replay. Listen, it is training camp eve, right? So the Houston Texans report to camp tomorrow. We practice officially starts the first day of practice that we have access to in terms of media is on Thursday, but I cannot tell you how excited I am for this time of year. Right, I'm super excited about it, and I can't. There's just so many things that I look forward to being able to check out and see. So, a few announcements about what's going to happen during training camp with Chalk Talk. I'll give you some heads up. I'll give you a heads up. The show won't be on Tuesday at 11 every week. It just depends on the Texans practice time and if they have an off day. So I'll give you a couple days notice to see if we'll do something earlier or on a different day. And we'll see how this primetime thing works. Maybe during camp, I'll do evening shows when the Astros are not home. So there's so many things, there's so many variables, but it is that time of year, guys. It is the all-star break, about the midpoint or so of the Major League Baseball season. That's pretty cool. We'll talk about the Astros. It is the eve of Texans training camp, and the Houston Rockets are the summer league games are going on. So all that stuff is happening. So welcome to Chalk Talk. I'm going to first start with, you know what? I want to start with the home run derby from last night. And probably the biggest story from the home run derby last night. It was really kind of crazy. I don't know if you saw it. When I talk about the derby, I'm speaking really definitely about the anthem. Okay. Let me go to it. And I won't make you listen to the whole thing, but I do want to share this anthem last night. And the person who sang it has been nominated, I believe, for 4 Grammys, right? So look, let me just play it.
For the land of the free. Ingrid Andress.
Okay, so that is not the version that I wanted to play, but it's enough, right? So that was her last night. She is a country western, I guess, star singer, and it was pretty awful, right? It was pretty awful last night, the video. But here's the deal. So she addresses what happened last night, and I'm not even really sure kind of what to think about it. She said, wait, let me go back because it's been widely reported. So she apologized after her performance of the anthem. And because she pretty much broke the internet last night. I mean, it was played just you name it, it was played, right? It was ranked pretty high in terms of my memory. In my mind, it's the worst that I'd heard. National anthem, a rendition of the national anthem. So she did go viral with it. It's not the thing that you want to go viral with. She's supposedly very talented. She's a country western singer, as I mentioned, has been nominated for 4 Grammys. But she says that she was drunk last night and she apologized to Major League Baseball, the players, fans, everybody, right? She said, that was not me last night. And I apologize to MLB, all the fans in this country. Wait, hold on. I'm not going to BS y'all. I was drunk, she wrote. I'm checking myself into a facility today to get help. That just wasn't me. And I love so much in this country. I love so much for that rendition. So she is apologizing for the rendition she gave last night. But then she also puts, I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. So listen, I don't know if it makes the apology ring kind of hollow, but because people do have problems with substance abuse, addiction, and alcohol, and it's a real thing. So I'm sympathetic about that. But seriously, she hopes y'all have fun. Anyway, that was that. The home run derby was last night. The All-Star game is tonight. I was doing it over with Stan Norfleet at Next Up on Sports Talk 790 this morning doing the show. He asked me, "Are you going to watch the All-Star game tonight?" And I said, honestly, I may, flip back and forth with it. I've got some work to do, but probably not the whole thing. And he said, "Well, if Altuve was starting at second base, would you watch it?" Yeah, of course. So Jordan is playing. I think he's going to be he's DH, and Altuve has not played. And let me ask you guys this: do you feel any kind of way because Jose Altuve has not played an All-Star game since the cheating scandal of that was announced in 2019 from the 2017 season? Not that he hasn't been invited. He's been selected, but he is not gone. And so he hurt his hand about a week ago. Maybe he got hit in the hand, but he's played since then. So I just want to know, what do you think? Do you feel any kind of way? Do you think that you want to see Altuve play in the All-Star game? So for me, I'll tell you my answer. I'm not really bothered by it. I mean, I get it, but he shows up when they're on the road, and there's so many great things about Altuve, and that he doesn't want to play in the All-Star game. I don't think it means anything other than he's taking a little bit of time. What do you think about it? Drop it I'd love to hear your comments about it, but let's talk about these Houston Astros. They went 17-6 over their last 23 games after what we would call a really bad start to this Major League Baseball season. They really dialed it up. Now, they ended with 2 losses that didn't look great. They reminded you of the way they looked early in the season. But right now, they are 4 games over 500. They are 1 game behind the Seattle Mariners in the American League West. And they are, 3.5 games out of the wild card race if the season ended today, which it does not. It's the All-Star break. So they have turned some things around. And so if I had to tell you what I'm most concerned about in the second half of the season, it's their pitching, right? They have had so many injury problems, so many injuries. JV, Justin Verlander, is still out. Now, he has been throwing from a mound, so that's getting closer. But Luis Garcia apparently had a setback. Not sure where Lance McCullers is, Javier Christian. I mean, they've had so many injuries to the starting rotation. They're going to have to make a move, right? Dana Brown's going to have to make a move before the July 30th deadline, and we will see what that is. But they have managed to pull it together. And some of the people who have been really kind of consistent have been like the John Singletaries and Jake Myers. And of course, Ronel Blanco is pitching beyond what us mere mortals thought he would do. But it is something that GM Dana Brown talked about coming out of camp. Keep your eyes on Ronel Blanco when he has had an amazing start to this season. So the Astros are in a break. When they come off the break, they will head to Seattle on Friday for an important series with the Mariners, and hopefully continue what they've been doing in terms of their surge, and hopefully they'll start to get some guys back. Oh yeah, Kyle Tucker. He hasn't played in a while. He has been nursing that calf. I think it was a calf injury when he basically hit himself at the plate. So all that's happening, and we are looking forward to it. So All-Star game was on last night. All-Star game is on tonight, but so we'll see. That's coming up. Hey, Mike, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, she did sound shallow with that apology. She should have just apologized, but don't end it with, "I hear rehab is fun." I don't know that anybody goes to rehab to have fun. So Mike says, I forgot about the All-Star game tonight. And I live in a city with a major league team. I didn't forget about it, but I've never, it's been a while. I shouldn't say never, since I've been really big on All-Star games. Nothing wrong with them. Just, I can live without it. And sometimes the timing isn't right and you come up short. Look at you with a little pun about Altuve. Altuve is the man, okay? He is the real deal. And if I'm not mad that he did not, I'm not mad that he's not in the game. I mean, it's the All-Star game. Hey, good evening, Sylvia, my sister, Sunshine, my friend. Good to see you. Good evening, Frederick. Thank you for joining. And Mike says McCullers might be done based off the stuff I've seen and read. Yeah, I don't listen. If he ever gets back, I think he should come out of the bullpen. I mean, that's where he's had his most success. And I think as a starter, that just may be too much wear and tear for him, because when I'm trying to think, when did he last play? In 2022? In that Boston series is when he got injured the last time. Anyway, it's been a minute. So I'm with you. He very well might be done. All right. So I'm gonna save NFL training camp for a minute, and I'm gonna go to the the Houston Rockets. So the draft was a couple weeks ago. They drafted Reed Sheppard with the 3rd overall pick. The sharpshooter is what I'm going to call him. He's a shooter. I mean, he can shoot it out of Kentucky, and they are right now currently playing in the summer league. He's looked great in summer league. So is Cam Whitmore. I saw that, was it Mark Price, who was kind of giving Reed Sheppard some props. Other people have too, about how he showed up and played. He and Cam Whitmore have instantly started off with some great chemistry and been able to really connect early. Let me let you hear from Reed Sheppard from the week after the draft, right? He and his family came in for, meet the media, meet Houston. Now, a couple things in case you don't know. Both of Reed Sheppard's parents are hoopers. They played at Kentucky. His mom, Stacey, his dad, so he comes from a basketball family. And so one of the things I asked Reed when he was here was, what was it that he learned from his parents, growing up in the house with them about basketball. And here is the Rockets rookie, the 3rd overall pick, Reed Sheppard.
I learned so much from my parents, more mom than dad. No, they were both really big on the whole basketball journey, and the biggest thing that they taught was just work hard, compete, don't let anyone outwork you. It doesn't matter if something hurts you get out and you fight through it. You can't be soft. That was one of mom and dad's biggest words growing up, is you can't be soft. So just having the mindset of every time you go on the court, you're going to play as hard as you can. And with the IQ stuff, I think that's just kind of, a lot of that is from mom. So I thank her for that. But, I'm very thankful for the both of them. And throughout the whole journey, they've had my back through it all. So I couldn't thank them enough.
So that's Reed Sheppard. He has been impressive early, and they haven't even gotten to camp yet, but they are in the summer league. They had an awful game last night, and one of the things I said was they played 3 games in 4 nights. It's summer league. They looked exhausted. Not really worried about that, and winning summer league really gets you nothing. So, but we did get a chance to also talk with Ime, Rockets head coach Ime Udoka, about what stood out to him. What stood out when they were looking at players and getting ready for this draft? What stood out to him about Reed Sheppard? And here is what Rockets coach Ime Udoka said.
And like I said, Rafael in the front office dig back deeper than I do, going into AAU ball and all the things, high school and all that. So we've all seen that. But one thing that really stood out to myself and the staff was when he came in, he didn't just want to work out, he wanted to compete and go against some other guys. And so that stood out for somebody in this position that's going to go as high as he was. That you don't really, you just come in and usually guys just work out 1-0. He wanted to compete, so that stood out. But we had a dinner last night where we got to meet the family, and Stacey said it a few times. Cam be soft, and so that's why I chuckled, because I know he's heard it his whole life. I heard it about 5 times last night. So, something that I know I don't have to say to him, and if I think he's being soft, I just got to call Mom.
So that was funny. I mean, if you follow the Rockets or Rockets head coach Ime Udoka, we don't get a lot of chuckles and smiles out of him. So when Reed mentioned about his mom saying don't be soft, you could see him kind of smile. And that was a question asked. He said, yeah, I know I don't expect it from him because of what I've seen. And I know if there's ever a problem, I can just call his mom. So that was kind of funny. Also had a chance to talk with Stacey, Reed. I always like to talk to the moms or the dads, the families about this moment, and especially for them, because basketball it's the part of their family. It's what they have known and done for so long. Here is Stacey Reed, Reed Sheppard, Stacey Sheppard, rather, Reed Sheppard's mom, after got a chance to talk to her after the press conference. Soft.
Well, it's always been
cautioning him about not being soft.
it's always been a big thing with me, with Reed and Madison, our daughter, is like, whenever you do anything, you do it to the best of your ability. You fight through it. At the end of the day, nobody should have ever outworked you or worked harder than you. You always give everything you got, because you never know if that's the last opportunity you're going to get to do that. So don't ever have any regrets.
Is anything about Reed that you'd like for us to know? I mean, we know a little bit about his basketball. What's something you think we don't know that we should know?
Reed's a very relational guy. He loves the relationships of his teammates, his coaches, and he'll be engulfed in the community and just being a part of it. And he loves family. So it's like Houston will now be his family. So he will be reaching out, and hopefully Houston will reach out to him and make him feel welcome, and he will let them know that he's very appreciative of being a Houston Rocket.
So I know the draft was on your birthday, right? You said it, the birthday present that keeps giving.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about for him in this opportunity?
Well, just the opportunity in itself. Like one of the questions that he was asked, what his expectations were. It's the same that he went into Kentucky with. He didn't have any expectations. We never thought he would be here this fast, and he had an incredible year. But I think that goes back to him just being focused on what he wanted to achieve every single day. And like he said, going in and working, doing whatever was asked for him. And, when you do that, things play out well for you and for your team. So, I think he's just going to enjoy being here and enjoy the atmosphere and the teammates and the coaches and make the best of it.
How much do you know about the Rockets, and what are your thoughts about the team and the organization, coach, or whatever you know?
Well, this is all very new. So I know Charles Barkley played here. And I was looking at all these banners, and I was like, yes, I remember all those. But it's surreal, to know that our son is going to be here and be a part of this historic organization. And we're excited, and he's excited, and looking forward to being here.
Thank you.
What do you know about Houston in general?
Well, we played the McDonald's All-American game here. We ate at a little restaurant called Frank's that was unbelievable. I'm not even sure if it's still here. But greatest breakfast place ever. But that's about it. So we're going to be traveling around in the next couple days to try to figure out some things. And, what I've heard, Houston's a great city, so we're excited.
Why?
When she said Frank's, I was like, Frank's? So yeah, I like Frank's. She said they went to Frank's, and it was great. I said, well, you're going to even find a lot of other restaurants that you're going to also find that are great. One more piece of sound I wanted to share with you is Ime Udoka. So, the G League, when right after the draft, we were talking with General Manager Rafael Stone, asking about the G League. Is that something that might happen in terms of with Reed? Because with young players, it's an option for them to be able to send them in the G League and get some more experience. Rafael Stone said that's totally up to Coach Udoka, but he is a huge fan of the G League and what it gives players a chance to do in terms of they learn so much more in G League than in college. So got a chance to, one of my questions to Ime was, Is that something that you've thought about, or is it would it be based on what you see from Reed, and or is that an option that he might spend some time in the G League? And here's how Coach Udoka answered that.
Plan as far as going to the G League or not. Obviously, last year was beneficial for guys. Cam wasn't playing as much early, and he worked through some things there and came back better. Amen had the injury, so we got him 2 or 3 games down there coming off the injury, but it's nothing determined going into it. I think it's an added benefit that we can use if need be. But in the perfect world, we'd love for Reed to jump into the rotation, be a big part of it, and never have to see the G League. If it's something you need to do, then for years I've seen a ton of success stories coming out of the G League, playing guys that have not played as much, really getting some repetition down there. And so, no predetermined plan, and we'll wait to see what happens as far as that. But would love to not even have to do it at all. I'm sure he would too.
Yeah, I'm sure he would too. And listen, what did we talk about last year? One of the things the Houston Rockets really needed, they needed somebody who could just shoot it, right? And this kid can shoot it. I think Mike said, I saw a comment from Mike. He said he can shoot, but he got handles too, and it got ups like his dad. So handles means he's good with handling the ball. And when I say he can shoot it, like he's pulled up from the logo a few times and just hit it, right? Like that's mid-court. He's done that, and he can get up. So I think he's competitive. That was one of the things Ime talked about. When he came in town, he didn't just work out. He wanted to compete, right? He's a competitor. I don't want to just go through a workout. And oftentimes guys who are slated to go that high, then, they don't really want to do the competing yet. But not Reed. He came in and said, let's go with it. But remember, he's got a mom who says, don't you be soft. I love it. I thought it was pretty amazing. Mike says, I wonder when you're going to go to Gordon Hayward's barber to get that new age white dude cut and not that Kentucky country cut. That's pretty funny. I don't know. We'll see. Listen, he is certainly amongst some, his teammates can certainly help him get there. Right. We saw how you guys saw the transformation of Alpi, right? Alperen Şengün from when he first came here from Greece from Turkey. And then over the last 2 seasons, how he's become like this kind of fashionista. And so, yeah, it may not be wrong. Hello, my friend. How are you? Welcome to Chalk Talk. Yeah, Paul Wall. Paul Wall meets all the new guys. I have no doubt that he will get a chance to connect with Paul Wall at some point. I don't know if he's going to actually wear a grill, but all that's going to be happening. Hey, Reginald H., my friend, good to see you. We're going to have you on and talk some golf pretty soon. But listen, that's Summer League basketball, right? That's what's happening. But I wanted you to hear some other things from Reed Sheppard and from his mom, Stacey. Thought it was really cool. Definitely from Kentucky, right? We really do see that. But guess what's happening? It is the eve of training camp. Now, I don't know if I should really call it, because the players report tomorrow. So it is the eve. But it's the eve of the eve from when we actually get to be on the field and see training camp. Now, we've seen, some OTAs. We saw mini camp. We saw rookie mini camp. But there's just nothing like training camp, right? That's when it really all starts to come together, and that's when it really all matters. So if somebody asks me, what are you most, I don't want to say concerned about, but looking to see at camp, right? I think the offense is going to be really good. I think that this receivers room, right, could be the best in the league. And I'm just talking about the room. I mean, you're talking about, you're talking about bringing back, obviously, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. They've got, I wanted to pull up what I saw earlier. I was looking at an article about the Houston Texans and about their depth, right? And about what we should expect from them, right? They're going to have to make some tough decisions, but that's always really cool, right? When it comes to Trying to find the chart that I saw. That's a great problem to have. Somebody talking about Bill O'Brien. Why? So while I'm trying to pull this up, I wanted to pull up kind of the positions and what it looks to be in terms of like the depth charts and the people who are probably, if you had to say, are on the bubble. I told you guys I was having some technical challenges, so I keep having to kind of restart what I'm doing. Not a problem. Okay. The big question is going to be who makes this team and who doesn't, right? They've come a long way. I think they got to that playoff win last year faster than many of us thought they might. So here are some things. Training camp begins on Thursday. It's a great problem to have. But listen, one of the biggest offseason move they made was the trade for Stephon Diggs, right? Not just the trade, but they traded for him and then they stripped him of the final 2 years of his deal. So if you don't think the Houston Texans have a good enough roster to be talking Super Bowl, they clearly do, because you don't really make moves like that, right? Jonathan Alexander wrote something similar to that in an article for the Houston Chronicle. He's the beat writer. You just don't make moves like that if you don't think that you can really compete. So they have offensively, we know the quarterback we know CJ Stroud. So they've got 4 running backs. We know that, we expect Joe Mixon, who they went out and got in the offseason, to be RB1, and then Dameon Pierce, who really has kind of, I hope he does rebound from last season. Last season was rough for him, and he even admitted it. He said it was almost like having to start over. The offensive system was totally different. He just really never got his legs in terms of what he would do at the running back position. He did do some special teams work, but he's back. He's finished college in the offseason, got his degree. He is looks to be in great shape and says he's ready and his mindset is ready. So, you figure then in terms of depth, you got Dameon Pierce, Dare Ogunbowale, and then Jawar Jordan, the rookie, who looked really good in minicamp. So who might not make it, we'll have to see. But I think that if they keep, that's 4, that's who those 4 would be. And the thing that's going to be really important too is, will this offensive line be healthy, right? A healthy Laramie Tunzel on the left. You know what you get from Laramie. Best to do it in the business in terms of blocking, pass blocking. He's going to be okay on the run, and he's going to have some false starts. That's what he does, right? That's just Laramie, but he's still one of the best in the league, right? Left tackle. And then on the right side, if Titus Howard, whose injury may have taken a little longer for him to recover from in terms of the work he did in the offseason and getting back ready for camp. If Titus is your, a healthy starter at right tackle, which is his position and is where he's best. And then, it's the guards, right? I think Juice Scruggs is going to be the center. That's the projection, that he a healthy Juice Scruggs. He came back after missing quite a bit of the season last year and looked really good. But here the question is, it's those left guard and the right guard. What do we see there? Is Kenyon Green going to be one of the starters? Has he taken that step? Has he turned the corner? Remember, Kenyon was a first-round pick 2 seasons ago. He had a really rough rookie season, and I think that's being kind. He didn't play at all last year. It was nursing some injuries, getting healthy. And from what I've seen of him, just at OTAs and camps, he looks like he looks more fit. Like he looks like he's ready for it, and maybe he is. So we'll see if you get Kenyon Green to, give you what you thought you'd get when you selected him in the first round 2 years ago. you're winning. And then Shaq could start for anybody in the league. We know what we're going to get from Shaq Mason. Jarrett Patterson, who came in and was here last year. You have Jarrett. So it is that's going to be interesting, right? And it's going to have a lot to do with how this team fares in terms of offensively. We know about the wide receiver. So here's the wide receiver room. The predicted starters, obviously, are Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs. And then in terms of depth, John Mechie III. Is this the year that he shows why he was selected when he was a few years ago, before he, of course, had the injury and then the unfortunate bout with leukemia? He's been healthy this offseason and been able to participate in OTAs and camps. And, when the quarterback, when CJ and the guys get together and go work out, he took part of that. CJ was like, he looks great. So, John Mechie III, Noah Brown is back. There's some guys that it's going to be tough to make it. Do they keep Robert Woods? That could save him $5 million. What about Xavier Hutchinson? Can Xavier, who looked good at times last year, and then Steven Sims, does he make it as a receiver, or does he come back and maybe he gets a spot on special teams? Those are some things to, that we will have to see. Tight ends, we know they're going to have Dalton Schultz as a starter, and then Brevin Jordan, Cade Stover, quite predictably could be the backup. Maybe Teagan. We'll see it's way too early for me to start talking about who might not make it, but in terms of who the starters are. Now, I will tell you another position where they've got great depth, and that's on the edge defensively. With Daniil Hunter on one side and Will Anderson Jr., I mean, those two guys, you're winning. And then in terms of depth, they went out and got DeMeco Autry, Derek Barnett is back, and then Jerry Hughes, which we didn't hear a lot from Jerry last year. He had some injuries, but, I think they're good at defensive end. I've been curious about the interior of the defensive line in terms of tackle. Do we see more time from Khalil Davis this year? What about Foley Fadukasi? Does he give you what you think you need? I'm just curious about the interior. You need, something big on the inside. DeMeco has said that his defense, to make it go, it really is about what happens up front. He likes guys that are physical. And so I'm just curious if they can really turn into the kind of productive starters in DeMeco's defense. Listen, Azeez Al-Shaair at linebacker was a great pickup. I think he's going to be great for Christian Harris. I think Christian Harris comes in so improved last season. The jump he made from like the first 6 games of the season until the last part of the season, he was almost a totally different player. And he's already said how much Azeez has helped him. He liked Blake Cashman. There were some guys here last year that he learned from, but already what Azeez can do is going to be really helpful. So listen, I'm another position that's interesting is at cornerback. It looks like Kamari Lassiter, the rookie, could be the guy on the other side from Derek Stingley Jr. We will see. Does Jalen Petrie bounce back this year? Right? Does he recover? And I say bounce back because he struggled some last year. You got to tackle in this defense. And that has not always been Jalen Petrie's strength. I believe that he undoubtedly has worked on that. Now he will be listed as a safety, but he could, he could spend some time at the nickel corner because he did that some in OTAs. Listen, all I can tell you is in a couple days, we will have real action from training camp, and I could not be more excited. So hang on a second. I missed some of you guys. So here we go. Mike says if Reed, if I see Reed with a grill, he's gonna be he's gonna be for the streets. Yeah, listen. I didn't really know that Reed Sheppard is gonna have a grill. He might change his haircut. I expect that you might see that. I mean, his mom got a little buzz thing going with her haircut. The AFC South has the best collection of wide receivers in the NFL. So for those of you who might not know or remember, Mike Patton, my friend and colleague, has a show called Touring the AFC South. So he knows the entire league, but strictly focuses on the AFC South and, you know, breaks down the division and the teams and all of that. Now, he is in Nashville, so, you know, he might be a little partial to the Titans, and we understand that, but he is definitely a great resource if you want to know what's happening in the AFC. Tune in and check him out on Touring the AFC South. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that Robert Woods might not. He could be the person that doesn't make it, right? He could be the place where they could say, you know, we're good. We're good at this position because they've got some young guys they may want to have room for, but you never know. It all depends on what happens in camp. That's what's so cool about this. A lot of things are good on paper, you know, and some of this is what we've seen like in OTAs and mini camps, but they've not been hitting. They've not been in pads, and they won't be in pads on day one. It'll be what is it, about 3 or 4 days, about 3 days, 4 days in before you see them in pads when you really start to see what they're made of. And running back, okay, you talked about that. I'm not convinced of the depth of running back. Well, listen, you make a good point. I mean, I think we know what to expect from Joe Mixon. I feel confident about Dameon Pierce. You know, I saw him a lot in year one. I know he struggled in year two. So I think that, you know, he's looked really good. So I think Dameon is going to be running back too. He's going to be RB2. And I think that rookie is one to keep your eyes on. You know, he won't necessarily be playing right away a whole lot. I mean, we'll see him in camp, which is just a really cool thing because you get to see everybody at camp. But Jawar Jordan, I mean, he looked good from the times we got to see him in mini camp and then a rookie camp and then, of course, mini camp. So we will see. Derek Queen, hello, how you doing, my friend? The doctor herself. Green may be green this year as well. Listen, Kenyon, there's also a Kendrick Green, right? But Kenyon Green needs to really turn the corner this year. It's got to be the year. He came out in the 21 draft, and I think he's got to show that he can play football at this level. He's obviously got skills and talent. He looks more like a football player. I'm gonna be honest about that. And so maybe this is a time that he makes it happen. Mechie makes the team, and so does Noah Brown. Yeah, I think Mechie's definitely making the team. Yeah, Jerry Hughes is out there still trying to play. He is not 187. And those two former first-round picks at corner aren't it at corner for me. Yeah, listen, if one of them can do a little something, you know, we'll see. I mean, they were first-round picks, as you said, at corner, and it's another chance for them. You're talking about Jeff Okudah. You know, we'll see. Jeff Okudah, he started at OTAs playing what the starters, but after Kamari Lassiter was drafted and came in, yeah, you know, not so much. He kind of moved over to that spot. So it's going to be interesting to see who starts at the other side. But Lassiter was clearly one of the most impressive players in all of OTAs. So there's just no really getting around that. We, of course, will see. And you don't have a team in the AFC South, so you're not like you're not riding with the Titans? Okay. I mean, I know that you are objective, but I thought you kind of rode with the Titans. That's your hometown team. And yeah, you know what, Mike? I'm rooting for Jalen Petrie too. I like him. He's a, you know, I think sometimes you need that extra year in this new system and what the expectations are, because you're gonna have to be physical to play for DeMeco's defense. And you're going to have to tackle, right? You're just going to have to do that. And so I know that Jalen knows it. I'm sure he's worked on it. And so year 3 could actually be, but we'll see. So who is your favorite team in the NFL? Mikey says, I wish the Titans well, but they are not my favorite team. I can't remember. Who is your favorite team in the NFL? I don't remember who you ride with. So, anyway, so listen, of course, follow on all the other socials. I'm going to get some of these technical problems worked out. Oh, that's right. You're a 49ers fan. My bad. Hey, were you disappointed that Brock Purdy was not listed among the top 10 quarterbacks in that list that ESPN put out the other day? Anyway, that's a whole nother show. CJ Stroud was 7. And if for those of you who have said, man, CJ was doing so much in the off season. He was everywhere. I hope he's focused. And I tell people, listen, don't you worry about CJ Stroud. Okay. Wait, let me help you guys a little bit here. Don't worry about CJ. CJ is good. This is CJ.
Good. Yep. Good.
So that's CJ working out, right? In case you didn't recognize that. That's him working out. He's been doing a lot of that last minute work before camp. I'm not worried about CJ Stroud coming in ready, right? I'm not worried about him at all. I think he's going to be ready, and I'm looking forward to see what happens. But follow along so that I can give you updates. And I will also let you know when Chalk Talk is going to air, because it'll be different times now that we have training camp for the next 4 to 5 weeks. So that's going to do it for me today. Make sure that you follow me on all my platforms. It's Kim Y. Davis Media on Instagram and on TikTok. If you are not following me, I'm asking that you do, because you'll get lots of updates and shorter videos throughout the week. Make sure you're following me there. It's Kim Y. Davis Media on Twitter. But I will definitely be having training camp updates and, of course, continuing to have what's going on with the Houston Astros. It'll be a bit of a break for the Rockets. But listen, we've also got the Olympics coming up soon, and I'll be keeping you posted on all of that. So follow me there. Let me hear from you, kim@kimydavis.com, if you want to join my mailing list. And I will see you next time. Listen, as always, thank you for being a part of the show. And remember, if you are not registered to vote, get registered. I say it all the time, and we're getting close to election season. It is super important that you get registered. Start doing your research about the policies and the politicians. We'll talk about all of that later, but what's most important now is that you are activated, that you're engaged, and that we hold people accountable, because remember, they work for us. All right. Remember, do something kind for yourself and something kind for somebody, do something kind for somebody else and something kind for yourself. All right. Peace. And if you're in Houston, I sure do hope you have air conditioning. See you next time.